27th, 2025. I've had a rough couple days. A rough couple days. I told you, original people from the original FBI case are showing back up. The guy on the motorcycle with the helmet, he was around me in 18 and 19. He even followed me up to Bedford. Drove around me. He was outside Bob Evans 2 days ago on 62. Had his helmet on. He said, I know she don't know who I am, and that way I can show up and keep an eye on her. He said, I seen that video that Karen uploaded of her with the outside cameras and where they only had the outside cameras. I forgot how big Karen used to be. He said, I did a body ratio of way she looked when the case started to the tape of Weird with Yourself. It wasn't her. Wasn't the same body. Where they said they photoshopped a shower scene and washing. They actually put my head on somebody else's body. See, that's what my boss, that his sister's a judge, said. He figured they put my head on somebody else's body. He said, I've known you for years. You'd never do that. Okay? He said everybody about died when that agent said something to her on the phone, that he sounded like a crazy nutbag. We found out she's never even met that Pete. And that she thought it was some guy that looked like a little old white Santa Claus. Showed up at Faith Family Church saying he was retired Judge Pete, friends with Ludick, letting him get away with crimes. As if Ludick had let him get away with crimes. The other guy's like, but he did show up. A guy looked like a little white Santa Claus, was with the Florida group, was telling people that. And we found out she doesn't even know who that Pete is he hired. And he was in the office saying all kinds of stuff about her, and she's never even met him. Well, he was hired by Dave. Where April 16, 23, where on Christmas Eve of 22, I confront Danny and Jen about all this, and they didn't know anything. And I kept going back over talking to them, because these people are they're selling kiddie porn, and my grandkids going potty. And I'm trying to gently let them know that if they tape me in the shower washing, they taped everybody using the bathroom. And Jen's like, well, I hope. I was gassy. I said, you don't realize everybody used the bathroom. And I looked over at the kid. She's like, great. And where I had bruises, throwing up, almost passing out, and it kept happening. If they knew somebody was drugging and beating me and telling me to say stuff, and they didn't know anything. Like Jen said, I didn't think about anybody harming you, Karen. She said, I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't put it together. And that's where Shay's like, Gabe's, my one grandson's girlfriend, scary, thought predators were getting in your home and harming you. I said, I'd never seen her talk to anybody. I'd take a drink out of a drink, the room would go dizzy and black, wake up with injection mark, orange, lemon, grapefruit sized bruises, massive headache, almost passing out. Jen's like, I've seen her like that, and I didn't think it's somebody harming her. She's like, Karen, it's scary. The thought people were getting in your home and harming you. Or April 16th, 23. Across the parking lot, I heard Danny and Jen talk to Gabe. And Shay, I finally went to Dad, asking what on earth is going on. He said he hired some guy named Pete on his own. Pete has her framed. It was Pete and his men in her home before. Pete has her framed. Pete has her taped the filthy, dirty statement. I never met him. Talk about my rapist. Some idiot Dave hired on his own. I've never met him. In June of 23, I started up on Forest Grove Drive in Akron. The police were out there with badges around their neck, and clipboards asking, because they all know they sold the login. Have you ever listened to Karen before? Yes. She ever mentioned Agent John, and said his last name? Yes, several times in the beginning. Said, we thought maybe it was him. We tried to talk to the FBI and they wouldn't answer any questions. We don't want anybody to say anything to her. It's already been documented, verified, everything was photoshopped on her before. How they do it, we don't know, but everything's photoshopped. We already verified everything. That was 23. See, that's where that guys said how mad they were that they found out I didn't even know who that Pete was. And he was in offices telling people all kinds of stuff, and I've never even met him. He's some guy Dave hired on his own to do that. Run a scam on everybody. Thinks he's some kind of smart ass, thinking he can fool everyone. Alright. Well, yesterday I was in Bob Evans on 62 again. There were some guys sitting on the other side of the dividers. I start going through all kinds of stuff. Okay, a couple comes in and sits in the booth right across from me and Carl. He didn't have his hearing aids in. We go to walk out, and well, John verified everything. I went, John didn't verify nothing. Hell would freeze over. Walk up to the cashier. I said something. I said, I am so tired of my ex-husband and the scams him and those drug dealers played on me, and went through everything. A lot of things. How I'd had bruises throwing up and they're supposed to roofie me and told me to say horrible stuff. How my ex-daughter Melissa was in on it with him. And I had reported him. Well, I reported my ex-husband. I didn't know about her being involved in it till later. And how she set John up to be arrested. Snuck in his house. He didn't even know she was there. Hid. Waited for him to come out of the bathroom. Screamed and lunged at him out of being startled. He shoved her. Now I got you. Had him arrested domestic violence. Had a bailout, get an attorney, pay fines, lost his kids for a year. He called me up and he said, Mom, I need a reliable name to pick up my kids. He said for me to get partial custody, I have to have a reliable name to put on the court records. I said, John, I work 2 jobs. I barely can afford my apartment now. He said, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. He said, these are my kids. I said, John, I don't make enough to barely make it now. I got $1,200 in alimony. My apartment was almost $700, it was like $675, and my car payment was $570. Now I only made $10 an hour at one job and $12 at another. I worked 2 jobs. I barely made it. I had no insurance, had to pay for my own prescriptions, had to pay for a car and renter's insurance, cell phone, utilities. I barely made it. Do we understand? And I said, I don't get off the first job, let alone the second. I'm sorry, I can't help you. I won't be able to keep my apartment. But if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. I said, John, there's nothing I can do. I don't have a good enough job. Well, he lost his kids. Moved to Florida years ago. He's been remarried. Beautiful woman. Looks extremely happy. He comes up and visits his kids a couple times a year. Now, Melissa is an electrical design engineer. She makes $95,000 to $145,000. He told me because he's an electrician, he was paying her thousands and thousands of dollars in child support. Because he makes big money too. He gives her like 30 grand. She has an income of about $175,000 a year. He would tell you, don't you dare help that bitch. After what she did to him, it'd be a slap in the face. If she can't make it on that kind of money, tell her to go get 2 jobs. She wanted to be sole parent that bad? Tell her to figure it out herself. See, that's where on Thanksgiving of 18, where in a legally bugged house during an FBI case, the kids were playing boo in the basement. They were taking each one of us down to jump out and scare us. I wasn't down there 30 seconds, maybe 60. Walked down, they screamed boo. I went to go back up, third step up. The house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Grandma needs to get out. Look down there in a huddle, laughing and doing the kind of thing, and saying crazy crap. I went up and sat down by Dixie and the baby. Flora comes running up, my other granddaughter, playing with them. Said they're saying mean things in the basement. Dixie's like, stay out of it. Well, I go up to John, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. He said, I told Melissa, you're going to be moving out. Going through a divorce. She'll just have the kids make up something. But don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too. But don't worry about it. Nobody could ever say anything bad about you being made up because of the divorce and that you're moving out. And that's it. I said, well, you shouldn't have said anything till it happened. But I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. It's just going to be made up because of the divorce and you're moving out. He shoots me. So, did he help her? No. Was he part of it? No. Where those idiots said something to me, and I said something walking out, and said something to the lady at the register, I went over to Walmart 62. They have cameras. Guy come in, he said, I told that couple never to say a word to her again. He said, I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing ever bad happened to him. Well, they're bragging that they drugged her and told her to say blah, 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 blah. But they already admitted years ago they drugged me and told me to say it. And he said, I'll take care of it. He said he already said years ago nothing bad ever happened to him. Just like Danny and Jen didn't report the tape of Weird with Yourself, they didn't know about it. They impersonated them. I found out a month ago they had someone drive around with them and was telling people he was John. And when they found out John lives in Florida for years and they had somebody impersonate him, people were pissed. They were fooling everybody. And Danny and Jen didn't report the tape of Weird with Yourself, the shower scene in the other room, photoshopped. Huh? And then it wasn't even me they found out. And they didn't report it. And they had told everybody they reported. They didn't even know about it. And they won't have anything to do with it. See, that's where every one of my kids defended me. That's where these people sold the login to the case. And the FBI and the police had a huddle in front of everyone because they already sold the login. It don't matter anymore. They were saying, why are they having all those kids make all that shit up? Said, oh, they're just trying to scare her out of giving up the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Right after Thanksgiving of 18. These people have admitted to drugging me and telling me to say it before, framing me and photoshopping that shower scene. That they made everything up on me. Made fun of the FBI. Oh, I heard police officers talking this last week. They said these people are running around telling everybody she was in a state psychiatric hospital. Look her up. She was never. They said they got some doctor. It's not funny. They have some doctor working for them that's not one of hers. That's a federal crime. They find him, he's in big trouble. It's a 10-year sentence. It's right on Google. If you're not a assigned patient of somebody and you say you're treating them, you say anything about them, there's HIPAA and Privacy Acts. It's a 10-year federal sentence. You look up somebody else's medical records without their signed consent, it's a 10-year federal sentence. Like they said, they've stole somebody else's medical records and put her name on it. These people are so dumb. They thought the police and the FBI wouldn't verify their documents. They thought they could steal somebody else's medical records. They're actually that dumb. I was down in Dover and Bob Evans, and the cartel's down there selling the login. And we went in, some girl said, that's the woman too ugly for another man. And the one that, and she had to marry that old man, and they're cackling at me. He's a very sweet man. Leave my husband alone. And the one the world is to make fun of. Some girl's down here giving the login away, asking everybody to help make fun of her. You know where the manager at Carl's Bank said the cartel's got a hold of a lot of people's IDs and is stealing all kinds of money from them and running scams on them? Thousands of people at one time. Well, either the dirty doctor stealing medical records, they're giving out people's IDs, or where the king from Texas is into malware, you open that email, they now have control over your phone. You know how they show you on TV those hackers that get into your phone and your computer and they can turn on your camera and they can record you? That's how they're getting all your IDs, and now they can go after you. But they've done thousands in this area. Get the idea. These people. Then I get home. We're sitting in our new place. We got a mobile home. My husband wouldn't sleep upstairs because his late wife had died a few hours after they took her to hospice, and she was dying in that apartment. That apartment had horrible memories for him. He wouldn't sleep upstairs. And he slept downstairs in the living room on a little twin mattress on a little metal frame. We moved in here. Value City had a $250 bed. It was really pretty. And I got him a nice box spring and a nice real mattress. And it's a queen size, but I mean, it cost us a lot. And got him some nice sheets and blankets to go on it and big pillows. And got him a big TV for his room. And in his room, it has an ensuite, a bathroom in it, where he has to get up 5 to 10 times a night to go to the bathroom, where he'd have to do the steps to go upstairs to go to the bathroom or downstairs. I was afraid he'd be half asleep and fall down the steps. Okay? And I already talked to his daughter, Audrey, and that we were going to get a one-level place for him for his safety. And his grandson, Matt, his son, Rick's son, helped us move. I went on Facebook Marketplace, got a China cardboard table and chairs for $400. Great deal. It's beautiful, actually. And then I've been getting stuff off of Amazon and stuff like that, and slowly getting everything set up. And it looks really nice. We don't have a lot. We had very little at our old apartment. His second wife, where he had mineral rights when they first put it in, he got a lot of money. She gave it to her kids. He was saying $50,000 each. It was more like 75, and then they kept coming back for more until he cut them off. And we've been cutting them off one by one because he doesn't have much left. He took it all. And they, for some god-awful reason, they think he's a millionaire and he's not. It's like the biggest joke in the world. Last night, his stepson, that owes him money, that his mom already gave him a big chunk, then he borrowed more. The girls didn't even try to pay it back. They gave him enough for a house, he said, and they took and blew it. We could have a house to live in. It was his money, and his second wife just gave it away. He gave away things he loved because she was dying. She didn't care about him. You know, he's such a sweetheart. He told me he waited his whole life to meet me, that he had never had anybody good to him. Everybody deserves somebody to be good to him one time in their life. He brags all over me to his doctor. I've had 2 wives before, and I had never had anybody as good as my Karen. He calls me my Karen. He's a chatterbox. His ex-wife was so mean. She was a smoker, and she had COPD and would smoke and then have to have oxygen, and basically smothered herself in nicotine and tar from the cigarettes. That's how she died. She didn't have cancer. She wouldn't quit smoking to even save her life. And he's a real bad diabetic because he was in Korea and he got sprayed with Agent Orange. And he has to have dairy to help keep his sugar up and stabilize it. Told him he didn't need it. She needed cigarettes. Didn't need milk. Didn't need different things. When I met him, his sugar was over 300 average. A1C was 9.9. Doctor said if you don't fix it, you're going to die. He had asked me to go out with him. I said, not unless you fix your sugar. His insulin now, we have lowered it. The doctors lowered it. His A1C is 8.0. The being a diabetic, they only want it 7.5, so we only have a half a point. He's gained 15 pounds. He's healthier. All his blood works good, and he's fine. The VA said they were so happy how well he's doing and how much healthier he is since I came into his life. See, that's what his daughter said. I watch you get after my dad about his sugar and what he's eating, and you keep an eye on him. I can tell you really love him. And I know you take care of him. You keep my dad alive as long as you can. And yesterday, his sugar went to go low. And he made himself a plate of food. His stepson called. The ones that took all his money. Said, where did you move to? Well, he didn't tell his stepchildren where he moved to because all they want is his money. And they're mean to him. All his regular children knew. He told them where we moved. And he said, you had no right moving. He's his own person. We're married, and we can move to anywhere we damn well please. We don't need their permission. You can't be moving off. He said, well, Rick already knew. Desi and Audrey, oh, you just think they knew. And we know what that Karen's up to. And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, what? He said they did too, no? I said, Audrey helped us move. His daughter and his son-in-law helped move bins into our home. His grandson, Matt, Rick's son, helped get the china cupboard for the new place. He even told his neighbors down by his farm he moved here. He just didn't tell them because he didn't want to show up here and demand money. That girlfriend of his stepson, which is 20 years older than him, or 18, they don't have a right to say a word, said how she's going to take care of me and that she's got ways of taking care of me and he won't have me scared him so bad. He was shaking. He's like, I don't want to talk to you no more. And she's threatening how she's going to have me taken care of. Officer Mark and John, you have him under police surveillance threatening me. I'd appreciate it if you would take care of it. He didn't sleep last night, hardly. Where he's been sleeping like a baby in that big bed. And he threw his food away. He couldn't even eat. And he had to go get not grape juice, but orange juice, trying to get his sugar back up. They are not going to abuse him. And they're not going to threaten my safety. I need you to take care of them. Officer Mark or John, you have them under police surveillance threatening me. You know, yesterday I pulled into the gas station, the Bell store by where I live. There was a Jeep behind me. They probably used a credit card to pay for their gas. You need to find out who they are. Carl didn't have his hearing aids in, and he went in the gas station. They got out of their vehicle and said, Melissa's going to end up in jail for this. She won't quit telling people that the police gave them permission to be in her home. I thought, why not? Couldn't we be in her home? What's a federal crime, idiot? And then she's like, I seen how big of a jail sentence it is to put up button cameras in somebody's home. Didn't realize how big of a crime it was. Oh, that's without the drug beating, raping me, and you guys selling kitty porn to my grandkids. And then you setting off a hate crime on the internet. That's cyberstalking. You got like 100 years in jail for this shit. The only reason why you didn't go to jail the first day, you had the drug cartel with you. And you told an FBI agent you had sodium pentothal reports and you were drugging me to get the truth out of me. What did that agent want? Your drug connections. That's the only reason you didn't go to jail. You want to play? So, and she, they were just saying all kinds of crazy crap outside the gas station. My car's bugged by the FBI and police. And we were setting it up that nobody would help her. Well, after I called the FBI hotline, I told you that they drugged me up so bad I couldn't wake up and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. The phone's ringing, let it go to voicemail. Had to wake up later, listen to voicemail, fell back to sleep. Second day, not much better. Third day, made myself get up, got enough air in my face, called one of my witnesses. I called the hotline when I gave to the hotline when I called it. She said she had witnessed for me. I went out and bought a card, put that agent's number in it. Made an excuse to go down the mall, and there's two guys there. Later on said they work for the drug lords. They were in that mall. We set it up that no one will ever help you. So where those people said they set it up that no one had ever helped me, they're in it with the drug lords. The guy in my old apartment where it's already came out that doctor from before was never one of mine. He works for them and they lied. He was one of mine. They have already, see, that's where the guy in the motorcycle, they, a couple days ago outside Pop Evans, they told him that doctor wasn't one of mine. He works for them and they lied and that they stole somebody else's medical records and put my name on it. Like the people outside the gas station, they find that psychiatrist that was helping them. He's going to go to jail a long time. They think he was giving them the drugs to drug her up. See, that's what they set out in Alliance. A couple months ago, there was an agent watching me. Turned around, looked at me, said we all knew they were using that guy to drug you up there and keep you drugged up. See, that's what they set up in Summit Mall. The last time I was there, and the one guy with a girl and said, is that the one they talked about? I said, yes, it's sick. What's going on? It's really sick. They had some doctor give him a bunch of drugs for a bunch of guys to go over there and drug her up and tell her to say stuff. And then they were having her beat and raped under drugs. And some doctor was giving those guys drugs to do it to her. This whole thing is sick. He's the one where they said he worked for the Florida Drug Cartel in January 19. And they even admitted he never met me back in January 19, where a couple days ago in Walmart 62, Carl and I are walking around. A young blonde girl with another girl, she's in there lying to her. She said, we have police that work for us. If we do any crimes, they wipe it out. When there's a drug dealer looking for Michelle for telling on him that doctor wasn't one of hers from before, but works for them, and they lied. And that drug dealer's going to tell on or take care of her for telling on him. And they're threatening Michelle. You better get Michelle the hell out of Ohio. They've been looking everywhere for her. Well, somebody else said later on that's the girl that replaced Michelle. A little 90-pound blonde girl. Are you freaking kidding me? These people loved Michelle. She's a little 18-year-old kid and getting away with crimes. People loved Michelle. And Michelle's been telling on them to the feds and the police of everything they did to me. They better get her the hell out of here. Somebody better get her the hell out of here because they're looking for her. She don't ever need to come back to Ohio again. I'm serious. She'll end up dead if you don't get her out of here. She told a federal agent on March 27th, 25, the reason I don't know who that doctor is from before, he was never one of mine. He works for them, and they had lied. And that I don't even know who he is. And that they had tried to kill me when they bashed in my head. Or leave me incompetent at work. And he got even out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory. And she'd have free insurance to use. And he could give her extra money. The woman using my insurance was Dave's girlfriend. For 15 years, I got stuck with the co-pays, tried to fight him, still got stuck with him. You didn't have to show ID back then. Half my medical records are Dave's girlfriend. Okay, now where I heard the police talking, somebody was talking to the police in this area. They already know you're using a doctor that was never one of mine and works for them, and you lied. You show up there to detain you until the FBI shows up. They know you stole somebody else's medical records and put my name on it. They also know you drugged me up and told me to say it before. Like that guy said, they're supposed to drug her and told her to say that. They also know the shower scene in the other room, the weird with yourself. You photoshopped it. It wasn't even me. And like they said, they made fun of a federal agent for falling for this. It's a federal crime too. You show up, the police are to detain you and call the FBI. What you have done is 100 years in federal prison. Where June 25th, 25, Royal King, New Philly investigators were talking, they found the original case. And it was some attorney's office thought they could have me drugged for fake confessions, photoshopped and framed on their own. And they were having me drugged being raped. Where May 30th, 25, the Louisville police were outside with a lady. Said they found the original case. My ex-husband hired 2 men on his own. One said he was an attorney, so it made it legal. No, it don't. What were the original investigators thinking? Oh, they thought they were getting the cartel on a platter. All they had to do was get that protected custody case for an FBI informant with threat and attempt a live case with statements, court order, for the police to tape everything legally and sit back and let them harm me, hurt me. The despicable act of some law enforcement feeding women and children back to drug dealers to get the drug dealers should never happen, but it's happening. It's on the news. They thought they were going to get them under police surveillance, and they did. And that idiot Bill from the Freemasons, having the cartel come down and take turns paying for the harassment, walking in front of the police and feds like they're unstoppable. Who they work for, their crimes, falling back, and they nailed them. The U.S. Marshal showed up January 23rd, or January 20th of 23, out in Worcester, where Maddie's friend in the police department got a hold of him. They knew about this case 2.5 hours away, how they were going to take care of him, and how that police department and the police were using the case to get the drug dealers that were human trafficking people. Got 800 in one swoop. They saved hundreds of kids. Did several other big arrests. FBI got Judge Peters' group that showed up at Faith Family Church. They were men from Florida. They worked for Judge Peters. And they were impersonating the Portage County sheriffs and FBI agents, harming me, including torturing me. Selling the login to there and other places. That's where the retired Judge Pete's supposed to be friends with Ludick, the one that looks like a deranged Santa Claus. Like a little old white hippie with a long white beard. And he's not a retired judge, and he's not friends with Ludick, but he was framing him. Showed up. Selling the log in there. They got Judge Peters in Florida. 100 men went to jail. Like they said, they got so many bad people off this case, it's not even funny. They even got Trakasami with Michael Peterson bragging how he's smuggling oil into the U.S. Through Trakasami, told him I didn't believe him. Sent me a letter of allegation, a bill of sale, large money transfers to Western Unions. Got when he was leaving, where he was staying, port where he's coming back, and the state buying smuggled oil. Not bad for a little old lady. They said they called down and asked about his shipment. It wasn't legit. They looked into it. Trakasami and 50 other people were stealing from the government. He got arrested. Like they said, what an accomplishment. One of their informants gave him a tip leading into Trakasami's arrest. Talking about in Akron last year. Why don't you start thinking about all this? Like they said, Karen's will is still open. It's part of the nationwide human trafficking scam. Caught under police surveillance with a court order. And these people admitting what they did to me. Yeah. So you show up, you say something about me. The police are to detain you and call the FBI. Hope you like 100 years in federal prison.